There was a say wajibre na utie. Aha aye Loud Mind podcast. So and I'll share it free. And then so many new KS. Say the dane die no yeah no na the mom back to back. Aqua me your forking. Yes. Baby I work there. Boko say the dane die yeah no na. No I think say na there. Yenra like reactions and those kind of stuff and they're like a deep because I feel say like over some days now I've been having some thoughts being I'm copying or media and so so and I feel say you are the best person obey me a channel like the idea cause any money na so na yen how I be say dey etu ya na mo afa then you know say you see that national science and maths quiz any I think say lady baako ewie na or they call US dey akwa degree bi ni ade so I think say through that na like it started with the band and those kind of stuff so one lady being so was say no enye ade bia eye bi ba just a noise bi na wo ho so now I think say that lady name so is also doing well ni ade but me am tena se no ene me be no I feel say some way the lady ne kano is kind of true because say you be brema school no benefit here too much you know I don't know say if say your mentality na say be a BBC aba if you think of it I feel say be sometimes finance sikasem no and a money problem be and I say but I don't want to channel it on that factor because I don't know much about it it me yen am say there be na dey yen put things aside na yen the yen wura mu na yen hwe how the ntia ema people feel so as people think say education na we Ghana no is very poor to the extent that oko school kura we Ghana like you are wasting your time so
that mentality no me da wetie for us na me da also as say o ma sa akonya no but no my bet na ha most of na entertainment aspect and the intellectual discussions happen to have both sides experience nakopa do me timi akosko ne kakra wi itimi chade
but before answer the besha fa like old school him how I will see a corner
nakopa do
was it difficult like
it was quite difficult because I had changes in my studies my share there back throughout international my journal they be at the forefront because me course secondary school I was a business student but me co uni no me science related course international change of environment kakra no money be I struggled in the beginning before say me but my co school area me want my license as a teacher and I yakopa down my child there kakra and you too quite no some say me was outside no experience kakra na mo skill set na since me say photographer on the skill set no so that experience
so we ma the boys na kana a true school na
either way is not true but
the first share
the first thing I will say the first school time remember a T4 years it is good to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it I was say ade no abra won hia na set time obe hia na fe na akọ hia de ko de so I think say education is the key na ye can no and should I say I don't want to be my first I will issue that but sometimes it's good you have the education. Now education were two folds. You were formal education, you were informal. Basically, me the back formal, you were if you nyansa and you school nyansa. As I say. So basically, if you nyansa ne dey, make us obia obi because we start to learn from the home. We see a kasa ne sa ne me never start to see ofie nti no. Basically, make us obia obi, but it varies on the level of obia drew. What you say? If you nyansa, you think kasa ko de sebio. Jimmy and Adi because you say Adi won ka basic ofie nyansa but unyan do that point what they call on the school side and so you bet you how to read and write but akwa no so a your chance to be see akasa abra your chance to be see akere nti no betimi communication betima kan be ye dey o say but ontimi ntwe nti ba school na na dey sa akere na dey aka so I will say education is really good so if I'm to boil it down to education, I mean science and maths with me find broader. Ghana education is very good. But the problem with Ghana education is the direct benefit of the Suiano, the entire environment. What you say? The entire so let's say be a cool school, my balance sheet. Balance sheet na can any be a and one I am no more no more use. We have a to idea 5 cedis, or 1 cedi, Massa Mano, and one balance sheet no. But a cool school, you find said there be, Mamma, and for I no one and your calculation, no. For pen paper to one lecture, cerebral okay, and a day no query, you know. Say no, and then a balance sheet, no. But we bet back secondary school, ye. Not a beer, a Gina Unya, no. Mr. Sekibia can mamma to one answer called, but baffled that Bishano. Officer Kibia, mamma office being woolly. But some balance she said a mechanic, I'm a shopper. Make me the sub balance sheet idea. I'm an grow big. Yeah. But I am per se, if you are but direct employment, so because you are the firm auditor, it's my bomb is that's why I work from home. Yeah. You don't really need to go to the office. I don't know you apply it from home. Yeah. I don't really know, but with my lesson then lawyers be now buy lawyers. Your more employment. Only fear be you call no about render services number. But Ghana will be a lawyer or change buy the employer. Mr. There are some sectors where you still have to wait for people to for the government to protect health, and it is related to like our lives. It won't mean think as a doctor will feel.
But people do
though, but I say and don't say make us want to mean and say what you mean your surgical room will feel say will be in the surgery and baby. You can still be in the home and do what we are doing now. But must take camera be educating crowd. Say the Ghana, your boy or your TikTok no educating crowd for. No crowd so almost in the AI. But our knowledge, I think I don't really know, but what means our school knowledge, you know. But maybe boys pa Ghana and Kasano go for time. Say and the yo pa. Yes, I think say education is really good. It's really good so be have. But one thing I make say, have the basic knowledge. Of the basic knowledge I make you know how to read and write. Okay. Notwithstanding, and no be able to achieve those basic ones. Okay. And no be because we will have it much and they said then. Even normal ABCD 1 2 3 no can hear. But some man who here because say as a certain woman you communicate. Yeah. And then I will tell you can just I don't know what to say so okay chief phone kwa na ba beto. Mr. The maker here say ana kasa na ye ka no and only reading no so be any person say be I want say na I want no class and that's the basic ones I have on the primary school subject verb agreement near that. So it is really cool say obenya education no. On the other side na skill set na say business na say other one apart from education so who here what you say who here na say na make you obi na betimi afa education must be obeye who ho ya ade obeton skillensa or the yard so to me now I feel say Ghana education you know that's more reason why I who for a free education acquire so they said it will elevate people from having the basic knowledge to another level because of secondary school now in himself from primary to JSS and the one who know how to read and write the secondary school that social environment you need to because if you come say Fabio free let's say Accra, environment. So now I'm going to integrate into the and now I'm going to integrate into a different community altogether. It all don't make sense idea, but I'm going to learn how Accra behave. Say no music kasa. Say possible because of Fabio free Accra and it's my learn Fabio language on that environment now make find myself no. Say me you some basic ones here how Fabio mo come sitting you maybe asefa but because we just and them no tante ase and most of the young crowd for no the same house the same community if you are no the kwaso enti no they maybe how won't me from but okay secondary school people from different angles so you get to learn so many things. So it is really cool. So when you have basic ones, no. So if you are moving into the business world and other sector, when dealing with people, you know it's okay. So me sure business in the Pakori and Kenya. Say because we go any kind of meka. A typical example, you say, Oba Santi na kaso bi ekuhenia. Yeah. It's in the Pakori wa bobra. Yeah. Ato konfanti me na kaso bi ekuhenia. Say obi o twantro. Yeah. So let's say me I've gotten that chance to live with those people. It say me no obi o infantinisia na say be edin gono kaso me ekuhenia. Me man affect me because say to them no. Some of referring phobia or my chantro as before. So with this discussion, no, I will pick a stand. But in picking the stand, no, I will also not counter the other side. Say education they won't here. But as a person or as a parent, no, we shouldn't focus mainly on education. We should broaden the options for our children. And my yes, we change na school no kusuya de there be. You maybe I hope papa na mama na wo ye na who knowledge no. try in the beginning so they are kwan be dey come because some papa you amazing na say na ojai no be driver but we amazing no so growing up we are following our parents intime no me say nim no be but how to read a plan minim how to make small time minim no be what die ho minim but enya na me dey adwuma it's so many am abedu ha yi say me see dan at least more basic knowledge be about all those kind of stuff say me say education am na say me shifting myself to that kind of field now any new to me I still have the basic ones. Same way say be maybe apamade. Yes, I can also see how there. But in the beginning of my clan starting who say okay, ade pam no. We your friend panie, we your friend ahoma. O do we be sha how be you we say. Enti onyini say change no be pamade say there will be am be so ba be pam no. But basically onim niam be. This education how kon kwase onhu no ade and say onim ade no education field nim. No be so shift to other side or interest from the beginning no. Ama no wetin my den akọ other field. Yeah.
Enti me pese me mbusa say e brebe na who say ebia and I say you and I say like person say uko school no do you still have to channel it to like learning something back door and I say like I was say we school ni we ansana say no am far ansana ko pay you for fresh and I say obetima ye ni nyina was like yeah
I think say that's the point I was saying say with education field you believe us akrabia ba we aso no na adwent say a blank sheet the better the kind of finance and no about who the fee no and I started a job to sound on the sheet no and a castle into said the mechanic no basically I will phobia wadi away that is where you have to start and I say impose I didn't work around so but let the child develop an interest in whatever you as a parent you are doing so it's only do baby no no bit me figure was okay all do ma me pamade but me aso me energy wa ha I don't really know something.
But okay.
Cool. In the beginning, no, started chair a crown, son your man we into and starting free. That's enka a fear nyans and home. Oh, see they see no and see they see pra, see they see home, see they see any maybe no. Now, mamma, no, you start teaching and papa no start teaching a crown. Near my old mamma no papa no here, Jumana, you know, start involving the child. No one's okay, mamma, you Jumawi. It's near my word, Juman say, Casse, so you're a driver, you can say crotcher, see when your friend crotch. You can accelerator, say your friend, no, fool, we. Until akwani nyino onim sa na yomani nyina no now when the child gets to junior high school yeah kasa from Ghana junior high school now or secondary school when you choose to course no and that is where we normally get it wrong that is where we normally lucky enough na akwani do that point no na onim de ope but I know most often no the old kind of parenting no omota impose course no wa akra no so this time of parenting the ana time akra no give himself ebo ko tim ko hunu akra teacher busa sa akra no pe ene yama akra no kra ko ye but back in the days who me course na visual no kra no enya course ye pe e ka so mo ma bo ene ko ba ne ko what you say but I think say this time around the tim busa sa akra no pe no tim say okay anyway na me I want to be like this I want to be like this na ko so I think say you should any time frame so ka say go school na wians na ba besua it can work for you or it cannot I think say one of those things are the I'm catching say I regret not doing it. Say I didn't learn a skill before entering the university. I did be a harm because I don't really know. Lucky enough, maybe I'm a Drubiano. People like me, or I get to know people. Oh, maybe I'm a Drubia, be me, and I'm out for statistics in me. So maybe a unions and I ever started graphic design. So maybe I'm a market people, not be in the pack crabby. But if I say time I may go university, the most secondary school I'm starting names hardy na. Me call uni no. I could have gotten money from that field because minimum crowd and at school muso no positions near the ade no. On buy flyers ne department am integrate men skaka crack as a side hustle there. But I didn't get a chance to learn anything to secondary university me na musa without doing any skill set. And once I go school na wie. School so me go wie as a teacher my license. I think I'm license no because me to answer but 2020 come Ghana 2025 in the license ni me abran ka menya employment dia
we school no utimenya opportunity na chira de Ghana kakra
menya abaya adwuma ancha de private schools na ye church ade kakra but service me no secondary school me chade secondary school we just my 2020 to 2021 ana me chade private schools kakra so at the government work I employ me they know because also try license ni me try license ni but I couldn't get the chance to be a teacher so I think there is no time frame say I also will try there this time so I also will see skill set so that's where I'm bringing in the parents you know say akwana dada sitilemu no try to keep an eye wa akwana say ade be na ope okay so you be ope drawing na sa na okay say site teacher because na be fama na say obafia o de share to sketch pad ne paint bi kura ma no o de oba Sunday bi makwa so ya ba no o kodo draw de o ma me kitchen ko tra na draw bibi nti dem ona o do na e hanse akwa nti akwa ndu Jesus na say on do secondary school no so okay interest or drawing na let me go to visual arts na me ko becha me ho more e that field no
and I think say Krano these days, you know, they don't feel like going to the school because they feel as a school no mukwa she any ma more the way you know, they don't channel on their energy, you know, school no. Into make sense, I've seen like a couple of people my day on papa car the true car no papa Asha said or masho omo show instead of say akwa ne benyina ko school the moment obehunu car ne school
yeah
so nti how na you also now work as also be yan share akwa no nti say ban us situation now how do we find ourselves on that because say as a parent you know ebe how but at the end of the day no ebia you feel say adia kwaku na akufia yi maminja no and I say mamenya because you can't say much because o say ebia wo can be bra obetimi kura ka say maminja because at the end of the day me home insan no adwuma nti no but ebia na wagya bibi wo na chi a o say ko focus say ke ebia nka ye de nti no eba na sana how do we go about those issues and so
okay the meeting can say they are all that's what I'm saying they are all important the who here say the person has to have basic knowledge so the basic knowledge here also we have formal education and informal education so the informal no say them make a answer say they see ni pakasa say your money you also who say they see dress konipem also who what you say let's say so akra bi na bia let's say so Saturday no call can also who school ni bi mu as a parent you can't force the person but analyze the child no okay if you answer not say they see ni pakasa na adwene wo no ma hu ti say wanyini is the person matured enough to sit behind the wheel and drive because can na wuchi no sabi you nkofo nam kwan so be yen no ma bi a kire wa be ma obu afu se ne pa kona akoma akra si wo abufu hu si ye de esi tie se de make ati ase se ne pa kona drive a the concentration si etisen and so o fie kwa na o ya ade a the concentration tisen obu ho a o ya ade a ade ketu bi na distract se ne pa kona ka so ntwika wonti ntwika because can obi ba betwam akra ba betwam ama o so onya abote na concentrate kana uchi mami beti makasa yan quantum enti sane money ya so wan analyze akra no ansa na achepo akra no into that phone na person yede okom no enti me dey say e was akra nya basic things that basic things obetimi akasa obetimi atwe ye twa de no to obetimi akirikire eni obi na betimi anya and there was me say issue that this eni obi ya yobu obetimi akọ school na do university but to common bro for kra to ontimi those people are exceptions and no ye inform nya analysis but to find on the face value nioma bi e basic ne pa no betimi atwere timi aka so kaso onko school no be chika na I hold no grudge against such a child but also who something basic na efie nyansa na ho ne hia me because if you are not going to school na back into the world obre that's why you have to have this efie nyansa and I'm still going to talk about it even omoko school no kra no we still have to find efie nyansa na more because when you go to school we are a doctor but if you don't know how to relate to people o doctor na you never so ni so because say them kind no tell them the secondary school na example say ade bia wo ye bia going to move into the community ba wi asenim oni nipa na ba be interact it say na isi ni nipa sitina and then informal education also uhunu sa na yema no so in as much as say we go school and as we do so go school be business and as be skill set no oni nipa na be ya adwuma say na sika say nipa ho say na si dress ko nipam so me no obi nya asem e won to kwam say na mpesem si address okay me ne fa bi ahia asem asi say na me address and your money nyina no I was say nipa no sunya answer na oba into the phone so obi eco school that's what starting your skill set no ka so on ko bi mu a me to me I hold no grudge I just say skill set be to say football and no expiry date na ho then they me no be example because ball there ball a na mbetimi abu what you say and a ball no especially like Ghana no umba me do limelight no na age be bride akacho so me ball there I will say I'll take ball as a different field. Into say ball.
And in Ghana, I cry.
Yes, into ball. I will say try to learn a skill set. And I say for school.
Okay.
It is on school now. Ball. Say driving recreation, carpentry be a share. So the be ya. Say nyame fa sama say enu na ntimi ankwa ma na di be 25, 28. Na hwe na fire. You can switch back because the car the uchi betime di 60 years kana uchi car. What I say, but what you can also enhance yourself. That comes in the education aspect. Ubu wa chika, but because in education what for money no promotion be akwa ba adwuma nim kwa ya fama no we say akwa bi free other department na person na may chief driver na say the baba no na ono send ba kokko ntwi car kese da but na bia wa utwi car kese because before so be take car kese na say na say am license no e mo ayefo but na first before so be car kese this was start wo car ketwa na watwi sa na oduru ho nzani pa ko experience be was say you be panyin wa adwuma nim a nka ye ono but because if you only education into na shifted akwa ko mo obi a only experience be because only mad I think say education dey good at least learn to know how to read and write say because abrabo no komodie said make a car you try 4 to 1 say 4 na akere no speed limit a system na one say 60 na woko 60 no kwa no admit na e read no e to here na 60 because the sound on the cars na be ni na 60 e be okra 3 e be ekosi 5 pe nti say 3 that means say times 2 so nipa ntimi interpreting your man those things are basic and here so because kwa photosynthesis be answer but also go school answer na akere wo because go school na be say 2 times a number saying
sanity.
What I say? 2 times 3 6 there. 2 times 30 60 there. So could do be say speed limit is 60 there. Now we do where you know speed limit was okay that 3 na just okay me kona ba ni do 3 a na me to me bo ase. Nti e hye dan nya say unhye dan hia say abrabo no ye kwetwe 2 times 3 na say find x wa abrabo nim. But a application of knowledge.
Yeah, but I say no so na nkofo bebre e
dey wrong no.
Yes.
Because say dey can you know. A typical example like pollination. Pollination no ene etimi benya fruit mi eti aduane ni di o nti e be kire osaade no nti wona mabontia unkohia ade be fe pollination no but wona na wo hu mango bi abre no pollination e kire wo no na take place ama mango na ye den aba so ye kire knowledge na wa apply wa setile what you say ene se chinchina ye ka say bia ade koro na wo kosua no wona ma kohia pulling grit and say driving na ye be ka say ka bi ba bo break nti wo ba wo be hu say apply wo na that's the formal education. No matter you wouldn't see it direct, you know, but what national it's always implying our lives. It is always implying our lives. Force of gravity near the teaching. And one I say I'm conform money, and one I'm calculating no more okay.
I'm a Ghana ni become.
I can't know. They will all by school or Ghana.
Say Ghana funny. I was a engine funny. So
you still see it in your daily lives. But you won't feel it said you will be a cushion carpenter catch and say on fire ebia dadwa on fences no more who say the actually wa apply who direct who say the education Obama say S plus Y equal to say find X
I'm say if
but abrabon mu no it will come into a different form because if you was knowledge in it never more who say that and I think that was me so I think say formal education is really good same as skill set but if you only say in everything you do, try to get the two.
Okay.
The formal education finance and then informal education finance and then formal education which is like how to read and write. The meeting I can find.
Okay. Therefore, KS and ma yanana jutwem komo. Said the work no. Say it's better to get the tools.
Yeah.
She say we nya. Me ko gina ba bi nka say para square ne so nim faso.
It was one
faso.
Yeah, para square so one faso. Say area of a circle. Into the circle, I go ha oh ya okay. Sadi we ase na circle. Nti area na e wo ho no den. Na e fe no ana e ho no na e fe the area of a circle. Okay, area na e dey para. No maybe you surely need it but that indirectly or directly no. So let's say let me use another example. Tell me I'm a graphic designer. Let's say obi so your banner. Banner no so you made them who measurement. To ka say 6 inch kura minti inch that minimum the kura me I don't know can minti ase. Atoko Ghana typical example say Ghana window no it high 8 by 8. Oh. So I need to 8 by 8 and it be 8 by 4. So minimum knowledge no because e be am papa see that knowledge no. Till let's say obi say me flyer man na me banner man o ka say 8 by 8 se minim kra na metimi adwene is okay ne kase be ti se bibi say ni se dem ka atmasia same as phone you kura ita ma no mo so me de mo de na mumiami aso me because hunu no man I was in tools now so onim se de bi ayere ayusu ni se dem ka ata onim se de bi use tools no but the same phone you kura na angasa no so se dem make measurement obi ma measurement bia metima use iPhone they measure the say the size be ayere because of some many formal education am bro for me timi hu so okay we e fe the measure me bo we so a higher plus and me high say no formal education you don't really need to know say area of a circle you see now so just when you formal education it applies in our daily life.
That's it. Yeah. In on your last words for people are almost say education is important for Ghana because they need to change their circle. Almost someone change your mind.
Yeah. Education is really important. My foot say education is really important. In as much as say they make an so direct benefit, especially majority who are connection training we 2 years, 3 years a man a juma. Into own who knows or education because I think some be forms you can be quick as forms look I'm talk about more 5 years but it is really cool. It is really cool say when you education into no as a person no cry no obun say also didi say also see dress na hu ni die na hu asiesie of course school ni a kire no so they make say bi oni ma ho mfa na or wadi be between that obenim say obesi aye no first aid say obesi apply first aid fee into education there obi no be ka say ehun hia but probably you wouldn't get the direct impact that in as much as you go school we should also try to have a skill set or learn something outside the school walls you say be outside the school walls if you find ourselves say you school can say you maybe we know other things outside the school walls are bit me and also benefits.
Okay, so the KSA canon I say share outside the school or the na yen sua bibi nso was outside or say the be say school na anya yen so ye bit my day enya bibi aye so so twen say president memo adwuma emfa what you say nti no say the yenua na e kan no so nti yen semre no so we meet again we new person na unsubscribe ya na mpacho ahwe adoma na so na so me aso amai till we meet again no friend Mr. Na Fabio me name nua KS na twetwem komo bye bye.